It is Tuesday, April 14th. It is time to get in the weeds. I'm Jeremy Lambert. That is SP3. It's day two, SP3. Day two of the busiest week of the year. Yesterday wasn't terrible. Today will probably be okay. And as we were talking off air, Wednesday it really starts. Thursday and Friday are going to suck. And then Saturday and Sunday it kind of calms down a little bit. How are you for this big week, buddy?
Yesterday wasn't terrible. Did you watch Monday Night Brawl? I'm
I
doing
mean,
well.
as far as news coverage wise, it wasn't terrible. I mean, I listened to a long Cody Rhodes interview, and I listened to a bunch of stuff yesterday. I can't keep up with all of it, but
I'm sorry for
yeah,
that.
I did watch Raw. Yeah, like, do we need to like brawl? We're gonna speak plenty on this show. I feel like we need to like throw in a brawl because that's been the whole WrestleMania build. Is like, you get a promo, you get a promo, you get a promo, you get a brawl, you get a promo, you get a brawl, you get a brawl, you get a brawl, you get a promo. Maybe there's a wrestling match. Maybe.
I was exhausted because I had stayed up late the night prior watching Dynasty. Then I woke up in the morning. I don't usually do that after an AEW pay-per-view, but because this is WrestleMania week, I had to get in a shift of the writing gig because I'm not going to have time to do a shift on like Sunday or anything. So yeah, never again. Never again. Hopefully they space out the rest of these pay-per-views the rest of the year. So it's not an AEW pay-per-view right into the busiest week of wrestling if you're involved in wrestling media where you just do nothing but work.
Yeah, I didn't love that AEW had their pay per view on Sunday going right into WrestleMania week. Like, I knew it was coming, but I was still like, oh my gosh, can we not do that, please? Like, can we just, yeah, can we space that out a little bit better and just ease into things a little bit? But not the case
I
this
mean,
year.
I,
This is why I said Friday was my last day of sanity because Saturday was busy with that TNA show that allegedly existed. Sunday was a big AEW day, and now here we go. And here we go with
do you like
WrestleMania. So,
interferences?
man,
You should have loved the
interference.
TNA Rebellion show. If you like interferences and returns to no pop, sorry EC3, but damn, I pop for trouble, 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 trouble. Trouble, 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 trouble. You on fire, trouble. But it was just me, not Cleveland. Cleveland didn't pop at all for that.
Nah. I said this yesterday. Like I had a chance to go to the show on Saturday. My wife on Saturday afternoon, she's like, "Do you want to go?" And I'm like, no, not really. There's nothing on this show that is like inspiring me to go to this show. Like, I was like, we'll get a couple good matches. Otherwise, like, I don't.
You exactly called it. A couple is the correct description
Yeah,
because
I knew.
it was
Yeah,
two great.
I knew Leon Slater and Cedric would be good, and I knew Ali and Trey would be good. Like, on paper, those looked
both
like really good matches. So
both of those
I knew.
matches were great. There was some good matches on the card. Don't get me wrong. I thought AJ Francis and Nick Nemeth was good. I thought the main event was good. Other than the overbooking, kind of annoyed me.
That nah, I would have been so pissed at that main event because when I was watching it and Moose comes out and he like gets his big full entrance and he just points to the screen and they do all that. I said this yesterday, but I'll tell this to you. Like, my wife was half-heartedly paying attention to this, and I was like, oh god, like they're doing this big reveal, and then they do the reveal and everything, and then the match ends. And she's like, didn't it just start? She thought that reveal was at the beginning of the match because she wasn't really paying attention. And I was like, no, they did that whole thing in the middle of the match. And she's like, that's dumb. The most upset she was. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say because they've legitimately telegraphed
Yeah, everyone
Alicia
knows
Edwards.
coming.
Not even if like not. I'm not even saying like if you've been watching, because if you've been watching, it's been pretty obvious what they were gonna do. But on the show, they telegraphed it with the backstage with her and Mike Santana, and then the backstage with her and Moose. It's like, are you just trying to put a neon sign on the screen for wrestling fans that's been watching for more than a year that this woman is turning tonight?
Yeah, yeah. Everyone knew that was coming. The most upset my wife was of not going there is, I mentioned this to our group chat. The Love Is Blind people were there from the latest season, Love Is Blind Ohio. She's like,
You saw me. I immediately popped. I was supposed to be covering Collision for the main channel. And I just saw that. And that was the most I paid attention to Rebellion on my second screen.
Yeah, I was like, look who's there. And she's like, one, she didn't recognize half of them because they look so different now. I was like, yeah, fair. She's like, I need to have an intervention with Jordan. We need to have a talk because I don't know how he can't be dealing with this. She's like, he looks like he's just on so much stuff that he has no idea where it is. And she goes, did they just take him to the merch stand and like pick a shirt? Because I don't think they actually have a clue who these people are. I was like, yeah, that checks out.
That seems exactly what they did with them.
And then the merch stand, like, find whatever shirt. Yeah, find whatever shirt you like. She's like, I don't think they knew who Elena Black is. I was like, yeah, she's been on the show. Like, come on now. There's no way they're picking her shirt. Absolutely no way. Oh yeah, and that was the most upset she was though. It's like, we needed to be there just so I could have an intervention with Jordan. That's all. Otherwise, it was like, yeah, we didn't need to go to this show. And that was
Wise.
That was TNA. So
unfortunately, yeah, that was TNA Rebellion. I know people were pissed because y'all talked about it yesterday, probably much longer than you did with me, than you did with Joel yesterday. But yeah, that was the TNA pay-per-view.
We got into it a little bit yesterday with me and Joel.
Yeah, the AEW Dynasty was another great, very good AEW show. A couple of awesome matches: Young Bucks, Okada and Takeshita. The Andrade and Darby has been getting a lot of praise I've been seeing from multiple people, and I love that matchup as well. The main event I thought was absolutely sensational. Kenny Omega and MJF, two of the best in the business, proving why they are two of the best in the business. And Will Ospreay and Jon Moxley had an incredible matchup that most people just know from the 30 seconds they saw on social media and decided to complain about. But shout outs to Will, who retweeted my boy John Escadero's rant this morning. He retweeted it. So shout outs to Will Ospreay.
Oh, I didn't see any of this. What?
So when we did our review yesterday on True Hill Heat, John, I went to John first after, breaking the match down, and he just said, I'm gonna address the discourse that's been going on online because of the whole spot where Moxley hits Ospreay with the paradigm shift, and he pops up, hits the hidden blade before he passes out, and they do the double down. That got a lot of discourse online as usual with an AEW pay-per-view, with people complaining, be like, oh my god, I hate this stuff. This is why I hate AEW. And John got annoyed by that, and he went on a rant saying it's all these Cheeto dust wearing people and Cheeto dust smelling people that want to complain about this stuff. Is people outside of the gate, because the night of, everybody was happy about the matchup, we're praising the matchup, but it was all the discourse after the pay-per-view went off, or the morning after, from people who didn't watch the pay-per-view, who are just complaining, be like, this is why I don't watch AEW and all this. And he just went on a rant about it, just being like, these two guys put on a spectacular matchup that the crowd loved, the fan base loved, and you guys want to complain about it because you're outside of the gate looking in, and you want to be like, why is everybody happy? I don't like this type of stuff, when the people that AEW is for does. So it was basically just a rant like that. I can't do it justice here. You would have to check it out. I retweeted the rant as well. But yeah, it will put a comment saying yes bruv, and he retweeted the rant.
Like I said on the show yesterday, I didn't have an issue with the spot because one night before, I watched a dude tear his calf muscle in a UFC title fight and still score a KO victory. So I don't care that Will Ospreay got dropped on his neck and had a rush of adrenaline and hit a hidden blade and then went down. When in a legitimate fight, a dude popped his calf, still fought for another minute and a half to 2 minutes, and won a UFC championship in the main event. So that's why I didn't have an issue with that spot. I was like, yeah, you know what? This happens in a real fight. Why can't it happen in a professional wrestling match? So it was a
Yeah,
really strong in-ring show overall. Not like
yeah.
many noteworthy moments as far as
No.
returns, major title changes, but in ring, like it was an AEW show.
Yeah, it was a very good. I think what did I give it on the show on the review? I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. Not on the level of like a Revolution, but definitely a strong in-ring show. And I thought it did some things better than AEW Revolution as far as like pacing of the card. And I thought the 0 hour pre-show was better as well because of that Hyan and Maya World versus Divine Dominion matchup. Excellent. I love that matchup. That was one of my favorites of the night.
I'm tired of talking wrestling. All we did yesterday was talk about wrestling. Way, way too much wrestling yesterday. We got to talk a little hoops. SP3 playoffs this weekend because play-ins tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday, and I believe there's a play-in game Friday as well. But playoffs this weekend because God just hates me because he can't win a wrestling match. So he's like, here's WrestleMania week, and now in misery for the playoffs for the next 3 months. I know it's a little bit difficult for you at this time with Luka and Reeves being hurt, but how are you feeling about the matchup with the Rockets?
I mean, it's the best possible matchup for us because it feels like the Rockets are just as inconsistent on both ends of the court that we are without Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves on our side. I think like when it comes to extending the series as long as possible to give Luka Doncic probably the chance to come back in the first round, it does seem like the Rockets is the team that we match up with the best. Do I expect to win it if Luka is not back or Austin Reeves not back? No. But if we can push it to a 6 game, a 7 game, it actually gives us the opportunity to think that that's an option, which I don't think it is because you shouldn't rush back from a hamstring injury. Luka Doncic, you have a bright career ahead of you. So, yeah, I think it's the best possible matchup. Do I expect to win? No, but I like the matchup overall.
I would, for you, I think the Rockets are a much better matchup than had you gotten the Timberwolves,
Yeah.
which nearly happened if the Spurs. I don't know what the Spurs were doing
If
on
the
the
Spurs
final.
decided to play Wemby,
Well, I understand why they didn't play Wimby because I think he is legitimately dealing with like a rib injury. It was a meaningless game for
yeah.
them. They couldn't move up or down, but they still played everybody else. That was the part that surprised me is like, okay, you're not playing Wimby. They've won plenty without Wimby this year. So it wasn't even so much about playing Wemby. It was like you couldn't beat the Nuggets B team. I know Jokic played 15 whole minutes, but like you couldn't beat the Nuggets B and C team by playing all of your starters outside of Wemby. So that's where I was like, what? The Spurs were trying. I don't think they were actually trying until like the final 5 minutes of the game. That's when they like really started locking in. And by that point, they were already down like 10 to 12 points and they couldn't hit a three, even though the Nuggets were also trying to throw the game in the final 5 minutes of like, hey, just take all these open threes you want. And then the Spurs just missed all those open threes. I think the Timberwolves were a worse matchup for the Lakers, though. I mean,
Yeah.
the Timberwolves beat them last year when the Lakers were healthy, so that's number one. Although the Lakers are obviously a different squad, the Timberwolves are obviously a different squad. But where it really comes down to it is Houston. They play such a grindy game with such poor offense that I'm like, if the Lakers can kind of just make it a grindy game and get into like the final 5 minutes and have it be a close game, I kind of think LeBron can at least have some magic in him once in the series to steal a game. Hopefully you can get get to 2-2, or I don't know what the update are on Reeves and Luca, but if you can get it to 2-1, 2-2, and then get them back by game 4 or 5, like it's a whole different series at that
Yeah.
point. Like, but I don't know when they're actually gonna do back. Obviously, if Reeves and Luca are out for the entire series, then I don't think the Lakers have a great shot. They just don't have the firepower to compete with the Rockets as much as I'm like down on the Rockets overall. But it's a much better proposition than the Timberwolves, where I think like, the Timberwolves, as much as I don't believe in them, their history in the playoffs is good. They've made 2 straight Western Conference
Yeah.
Finals, so they're a good team. They're a team that can.
They're a playoff
tested.
riser.
Yeah. So I think that they'll play well. Yeah, Minnesota was struggling at the end, but Edwards was out of the lineup for basically the entire last 3 weeks of the season. So I don't put too much into Minnesota's struggles. And then once they were out of the 3-4-5 race, once they were pretty locked into 6th, then they stopped caring, because it's like, why are you gonna care when you're locked in it? Like, they sat all their guys in the final couple of games. Again, Edwards missed time.
That's smart.
Don't put too
That's
much.
Just that they know what they are. They play a certain. They always are kind of like in that range of like 3, 4, 5. They don't like go up, or 3, 4, 5, 6 in the Western Conference over the last couple of years, but they always rise to the occasion when it gets to the playoffs. So that was a smart move by them to just rest their players and make sure they were ready for playoff time.
Yeah. Oh, we shall see when it comes to the Lakers and the Rockets, but I do think the Rockets are a better matchup for the Lakers without Reeves and Luka than the Timberwolves are. I'm very excited for the Timberwolves and the Nuggets first round. I hope that the Nuggets can figure it out, because a Wemby Jokic second round is I don't want to say generational matchup, but like the games between them this year were really good, and I think that's going to be a great series. The Timberwolves to beat the Nuggets.
Yep.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
I don't think it's gonna happen, because the Nuggets are the hottest team in the NBA going into the playoffs. But I'm hoping it happens. I'm hoping that they just have, like everybody was saying, oh, the Timberwolves have the Lakers number in the playoffs. Well, if we're going by that logic, the last time the Wolves faced the Nuggets, that's how they got to their first Western Conference final in all these years, was 2 years ago when they beat the Nuggets, because they just knew that they just said, hey, Joke is going to kill us regardless of everything. We're going to play him hard with, our 4-time defensive player of the year. We'll have some double teams that we'll throw at him, but we're stopping everybody else on the court. That was the right way to play them, and that's how they beat them 2 years ago. I think they can do the same thing, except they're facing a much better Jamal Murray, who was amazing, had his best regular season of his career, and is a well-known playoff riser ever since the bubble. So I think that, that's going to be a tough matchup for them, but that's probably the best first round matchup, especially in the Western Conference. So I'm looking forward to it.
If the Nuggets lose in the first round, we got to stop the Jokic best in the world talks. I'm sorry. We just do.
I mean, I'm just saying, I've been saying this for what has it been? 5 years we've been talking about basketball on YouTube together. Like,
you're a Jokic hater, though.
Yes, I am. I'm not like Kendrick Perkins. I don't have to feign non-bias and then still be biased against Jokic and every white European player. I don't have a discrimination against white European players like Kendrick Perkins, but yeah, I've never bought into the Jokic hype. I think that Jokic is undoubtedly one of the greatest offensive players of all time, but I think that he's a flawed all-time great. Like, people are so ready to put him into the top 10, top 20 conversation so quickly. Yeah, they were ready to do it before he won his championship, and then been even more pushing it even harder since he won the championship. And I just never been convinced that he is the best in the world. I think that there's always been another player that's been either comparable to him or on his level that does better on the defensive end of the court, whether that was Joel Embiid, whether that was Giannis Antetokounmpo, whether that's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and now it's Wemby. I literally did a top 10 centers in the league for this year, and I put Wemby at number 1 over Jokic. That because I think that Wemby is that much better than Jokic on the defensive end, and I don't think the gap is as wide on the offensive end between those two guys. I think that Jokic is the better offensive player. He's an all-time great offensively, but Wemby is closing that gap at a very high rate and a very fast rate in that. And the defensive end, there's no closing of the gap there. That gap is wide as hell, and Wemby's in year 3.
I gotta see Wemby in the playoffs offensively before I'm gonna say he's getting closer to Jokic offensively. There's Wemby's great, putting up 30 against the Bulls in March doesn't mean a whole lot to me. I'm sorry. It doesn't. So I need to see him, and we'll see it in the playoffs, especially. Look, he's either going to get Jokic in the second round or he's going to get the Timberwolves in the second round. So it's going to be a tough matchup regardless. I think he's going to play great. And the consistency of the thing. Like Jokic, you walk in, you know you're probably getting a triple-double out of that guy. Wemby, now look, the second half of the year, he played great. There were some moments in the first half of the year where he, I don't know, scored 18 points and stuff, and it looked like he wasn't really, he wasn't out there a lot of times offensively. I think his offensive game has maybe been overstated by how well he played kind of since the All-Star break. And look, he played great after the All-Star break, but I got to see it just on a more consistent basis there. And I got to see it in the biggest moments of the year, which now he will get his chance to do that. So we shall see. I think you're underrating Jokic, but I also think other people overrate Jokic.
I'm not underrating Jokic. I'm just saying it how it is.
Joel Embiid was never better.
He's an all-time great on he's an all-time great on offense.
Joel Embiid was never better than Nikola Jokic. He just wasn't.
I think at one point he was.
Okay.
I think at one point. I will pinpoint it. It was 2022. 2022 was the last time that I would have said Joel Embiid was better. Even when he won the MVP in 2023, if you remember all the way back then, I know your memory's not good, but I said in 2023 that Joel Embiid was getting basically, oh, we didn't get you last year. Here's this year's MVP. Like I said that Jokic was better. Yeah, I said that Jokic was better that year. I was okay with Joel Embiid getting the MVP because I was like, Jokic don't need a third MVP at that point. So I was fine with it, but I said that Jokic was the better player that year. The last time that Joel Embiid was better to me was 2022 because the gap wasn't that big on the offensive end. I would have said that Jokic was the better offensive player even in that year. But overall, I'm telling you, it's two sides of a court. We need to stop just overestimating the offensive end. Even me, who has Luka Doncic on my team, I'm not about to be up here and say Luka Doncic is the best player in the league because he don't play defense as much as someone like a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander that plays the same position. So I'm not about to be up here and lie to y'all. But y'all are lying to yourself if you say Jokic is the greatest offensive player of all time. That don't mean he's the best player in the world because he don't play no defense. He has not played defense for a while. He's been an adequate defensive player at times, 2022, 2023, but even though in those years, Joel Embiid was better than him defensively. And then overall, in the last 5-6 years, Giannis Antetokounmpo has been way better than him on the defensive end of the court. Like offensively, he's been better than all these players because, like I said, he's an all-time great. I can't even name like 5 players who are better on the offensive end of the court than Nikola Jokic in history. But there are two sides of a basketball court. And one of those sides, he takes way more lightly than he does when he has the ball in his hand.
Okay. Joel Embiid was never better. I think Jokic's offensive impact is legitimately to the level of what Steph Curry was doing. And Steph Curry wasn't a good defender. Steph Curry got killed all the time on defense. But Jokic has that same offensive level as Steph Curry, where obviously it's not the 3-point barrage, but he's equating for like 80 points total on offense between the 40 points he gets and the 10 assists, 12, 15 assists he gets per game. Like he's equating for all of that. I'll also say this, like, is Jokic a good defender? No, I'm not going to defend Jokic's defense out here. He comes up with a few steals. He comes up with a block or so, but he's very half-hearted most of the time on defense. I don't think there's enough credit given to rebounding as part of defense because you have to rebound a miss to kill the possession. And Jokic led the league in reboundings. I think a lot of people overlook rebounding when it comes to like what you attribute to defense. And as someone who has watched plenty of OKC over the years, their rebounding has been better. Like OKC has a great defense. They had a great defense in the Mavs series when before we signed Hartenstein and everything. Like their defense was great that year. Problem was they couldn't get it. They couldn't stop possessions. So Dallas ended up getting a ton of offensive rebounds because Gafford and Lively just killed them on the board. So as good as their defense was, it didn't matter if you give up 3 chances per offensive possession. And I don't think there's enough stock put into rebounding and killing possessions off of that. And Jokic is a fantastic rebounder. I mean, he led the league in reboundings and assists. Like, that's kind of nuts to be the only person in history to do that. Back to the original point. If he can't beat the Timberwolves in the first round and they lose in the first or second round for a third straight year, I'm stopping the best in the world talks. Because if you're the best in the world, you got to get out of the first round. You just do. I don't care who you're facing. You got to get out of the first round. So, play-ins tonight.
It's only four. The 4 players I would say are better offensively than Nikola Jokic in history: Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry. I think he's on the same level though. Jokic is. It's close. You could put it at number 5, Jokic, but it's close between him and Larry Bird. Larry Bird is the only one I was like, maybe I could name him. Maybe he could be the 5th, but I think Jokic is an all-time top 5 offensive player.
Play-ins tonight. I'm looking forward to this Hornets team. I don't know if they're going to beat the Heat because
I think they will.
Okay. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, they're 5.5 points favorites. Like, they're favored to beat the Heat. The Hornets also just feel like they could just be a regular season team, and Miami somehow figures it out, even though they haven't been consistent at all. And I think Miami gets too much credit for just basically the Eric Spoelstra effect of like, oh, they have Spoelstra, they'll be fine, and they just haven't been that team. There's no evidence that they are that team. Charlotte's been playing really well in the second half of the season. We'll see how they do in this game. I'm going with Charlotte. It would also be very Charlotte if they just lose to Miami.
That would be very Charlotte Hornets-esque if they just lose to Miami. But I believe in the Charlotte Hornets. I've been a big fan of them and the way they played this year. I want to see them actually make a push for the playoffs. They need 2 wins to make it into the playoffs, and I think they have what it takes to beat the Miami Heat. They have the offensive firepower to do that, and they play very hard when they need to on the defensive end. So I think that they have what it takes to beat Miami. It's a catch-22 with if the Sixers lose to Orlando. If it's going to be Sixers versus Hornets, then I would probably go with the Sixers in that one. But if they face the Orlando Magic after the Miami Heat, I'm saying it. Hornets are making it into the playoffs because I don't believe in the Orlando Magic after the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, Orlando's kind of fallen on tough times. I don't think Embiid's playing for the Sixers. My guess is that he's not. So that's obviously going to hurt them. Maxi's still really good. Orlando just... Louis, what's up? What's up with your team, Louis? I know you disowned them like a quarter way through the season. Louis was off early after being on early. He was off early.
He was on the bandwagon. What was it? The beginning of last season?
Yeah,
Last
last
season?
season.
The
Yeah.
beginning of last season, he was the biggest Orlando fan. They had one of the better or more noteworthy off seasons when they got Desmond Bain and everything, and he was high on that. And even me, I was high on Orlando. I thought Orlando was going to be like a top 5 seed in the Eastern Conference, but they have not played up to their potential at all. I think Banchero and Bane have been one of the best duos in the Eastern Conference, but it just hasn't translated, especially like the inconsistencies on offense. They can't stop anybody at times. They just make dumb decisions in the clutch where they lose games that they're supposed to win. So it's been very disappointing with the Orlando Magic. Probably the most disappointing. Like at the beginning of the season, it was kind of the Cleveland Cavaliers were the easy pick as the most disappointing team in the Eastern Conference, but at the end of the year, it's definitely the Orlando Magic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been rough out there for Orlando. I think they can beat Philly though. Philly without Embiid. Philly's
Yeah.
such a weird team. Like they've had no consistency this year because of injuries and suspensions. So it's tough to know where they really fall. Look, selfishly, as a Thunder fan, I hope Philly loses 2 games, and I hope the Clippers lose 1 game. And then we get 2 lottery picks out of that. That would be great for my team. Now we get 2 lottery picks and the top overall seed. Pretty good year. You know, it could be a better year, but pretty good year if that happens. I'm leaning slightly towards Orlando in that one, just slightly. And then I'll go with Charlotte. And then Charlotte and Philly. I mean, I think Charlotte can beat Philly with no Embiid. That's a fun matchup too. We need the Charlotte and Detroit first round series.
Exactly. That's all I need in life. Like that's what I want in life is that Charlotte and Pistons first round matchup, because I feel like I like the other matchups that have been confirmed, especially the Knicks and Hawks going at it in the first round.
That's a good first round. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the best first round matchup in the Eastern Conference. But there would be some competition for what's the best first round matchup in the Eastern Conference if it's the Hornets in the 8th seed.
Yeah. I like the Knicks and Hornets first round matchup. LaMelo in the playoffs. Knicks and Hawks, sorry. LaMelo in the playoffs would be something.
It would be so weird. After all these years of just counting out the Hornets to see LaMelo Ball finally make it into the playoffs.
Like, I'm interested in the Hornets. LaMelo's fun. You know, Con Knipple is great rookie season. Brandon Miller's really good. So
they got one of the best trios in the NBA with those 3 young guys.
Yeah, and they've been playing well in the second half of the season. So I would like to see them in that setting, honestly. And then in the West, Portland and Phoenix and Golden State and LA. Who do you have in these matchups?
3 for 3, Jeremy. 3 for 3 on my calls of teams that didn't make it into play-in, playoff contention, and that were gonna do it. Well, I think it's 3 out of 4 because I don't think I'm one of those years I didn't make a prediction, but I had the Thunder right before they became a perennial playoff team. I had them in the play-in 1 year earlier than you did. Then the Rockets, I had them in the playoffs last year, and they did that thing. And now Portland. Calling for it. Portland wins the play-in first round. They're the 7th seed, and they're gonna go up against that Spurs team and get completely demolished. Let's go, Portland! Let's go! Get it in there! I believed in you.
Portland is a weird team, and I have no idea what to make of them. Outside of Denny getting the whistle that everyone thinks that Shea has, I don't know if they're a good team. They play well defensively. They're not bad or anything. Nothing about them really scares you or anything. But they're fine. I don't know. But Phoenix is kind of the same way. It's they have Booker, so Booker should scare you a little bit, but the rest of the team is kind of eh. I mean, Dylan Brooks has had a good year. He's annoying. He's gonna annoy Portland, I'm sure. I'm very excited for him to like get these ticky tack fouls against Denny and start complaining, and then probably get like a technical. So that'll be super fun. Uh, and then Golden State and LA.
Whew, that should be a tough one.
I'm rooting for Golden State because I want the Clippers.
Of course
to
you are.
Yeah, I want the lottery
I mean,
pick.
Steph Curry's back, so there is a chance.
Yeah, yeah. He hasn't looked. I mean, he's been still hurt. The problem with Golden State is Draymond, Porzingis, and Steph have played, and this is a legit stat, folks. 5 minutes together, 5 whole minutes, and it's just very tough to believe that your 3 best players can figure it out in a win or go home game, having played 5 minutes together all season. Like it's tough that there's no chemistry there.
Yeah.
There's none. And Steph and Porzingis haven't played much time together. They're probably only at like 15 minutes total. So they have no chemistry between the guys that they are relying on. I don't think the Clippers are great. They played better. Yeah, obviously, like they started off like 6-25 or whatever it was, so they played much better. But then they traded Harden and Zubac, and so that kind of hurt things. And then Maturin started well, but now he can't shoot. Darius Garland's hit and miss. His playoff history isn't great. They don't have like a ton of size. Brook Lopez is their starting center, and like Brook Lopez is still serviceable, but starting center Brook Lopez, that's a little, in 2026, that's a little tough. So like I don't think the Clippers are great. Part of me, wants the Clippers to lose. A bigger part of me wants the Clippers to lose because I want the lottery pick. There is part of me that is like, yeah, let's play the Clippers in the first round. Bring them on. Well, Shea hates that team. Shea's gonna drop 40 on them in 3 quarters in all
Every
4
game.
games and peace out on them. So
Every game.
yeah, I'm like,
I'm
yeah,
gonna believe in.
give me the Clippers.
I'm gonna believe in Kawhi, and I'm gonna say they win. They win that 9-10 matchup. Kawhi's been one of the best players in the league, and especially in the second half of the season. So
and then who wins the between the Clippers and the Suns for your bracket?
I think I don't know if this is the first, but I think the Suns would lose to the Clippers.
The Suns would lose. Okay.
Yeah, I like a lot of these, especially win and go home type games. I always say the team that has the best player on the court, I'm usually gonna go for 9 out of 10 times, and I believe in Kawhi Leonard than a not 100% Steph Curry, and I believe in Kawhi Leonard way more than I believe in Devin Booker.
Okay. Like I get it. I completely get it. I'm kind of leaning towards the Suns beating the Blazers and then the Blazers beating the Clippers or the Warriors.
I can see that. The Blazers would be the worst matchup for the Clippers because, like I said, I still think that Kawhi is the best. He's the best player out of all 4 of these teams, but the Blazers have a better overall team than the Clippers.
The Blazers just smoked them in a game Friday night, which was an important game for both teams because if the Clippers won that, they would have had the 8 seed. But they lost by like 20 to the Blazers, so that's how the Blazers ended up with 8 instead of 9. So I mean, the Clippers, they didn't inspire much confidence in these final few weeks. Like an important few weeks good because they could have climbed higher in the play-ins, and then they just kind of faltered. Part of me, a big part of me, honestly, hopes like Steph gets hot and like we get Steph in the playoffs again.
I mean, Steph has always been like there are people I've said a couple of times during this preview. There's playoff risers. You want to know who's a play-in riser? Steph Curry. Steph Curry is definitely a play-in riser. I still remember that what was it? I think it was the first year of the play-in. Him and LeBron, Lakers versus Warriors.
That's when LeBron saw 3 baskets, right?
Yeah. That was one of the best playing games ever. So I expect this is why I'm excited for the Clippers and Warriors game. I think that's going to be an awesome game in the play-in.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you on that. I got no problem if Steph gets hot and stuff. This Warriors team, because if the Warriors win 2 games, then obviously we would play the Warriors. And there's always going to be part of me that's like, oh shit, I don't want to play Steph Curry in the playoffs. I just don't. But the bigger part of me is like, this Warriors team ain't beating us. I'm sorry, they ain't beating us. So. But then, Steph Curry's going to get hot one quarter, and I'm like, oh, shit, why couldn't we have played the Clippers or the Blazers or the Suns or somebody? Why'd we have to play Steph? Like, I know I'm going to freak out like the moment Steph hits, like, his first 3 or something. But like this Warriors team isn't that good. So I'm not worried about...
Big prediction.
Okay.
If the Warriors don't make the playoffs, they get a top 3 lottery pick.
Oh, because they've done so well with those. So, yeah.
They're probably going to miss again, but they're going to get their redemption for the James Wiseman pick.
I mean, it seems like you can't miss on these top 3 picks from everything. I don't follow enough college basketball. I won't look into it too much until after the playoffs. But it seems like the top 3 guys. It seems like the top 3 guys are pretty much can't miss guys. But yeah, the Warriors, their lottery history is done really well for them. So
hasn't been great.
Yeah, I do like that prediction.
Players that are not good, or the coach hates,
or both. I mean, I don't know if Jonathan Kuminga is good. Like, did he really do anything with the Hawks? Like, I know he had a great first game and everyone was like freaking out, and then I don't feel like he did anything after that. Like, what did he average with the Hawks? So I'm gonna look this up. Atlanta, he had the same numbers he had in Golden State. He actually had played less minutes than he did in Golden State.
Yeah, because they have so many players that play the same position as him on this team.
Yeah, like I don't know. Kuminga's like a fine player, but I think that it was overstated how well he was going to be or how well he was because he wasn't played. And so people were like, well, if they just play him more, I get more of an opportunity. And when the reality is like, well, he didn't play more because he wasn't good enough to play more. Look, hopefully he has a good playoffs. This Hawks team's really fun. Yeah, I am looking forward to the Hawks and the Knicks. You're picking the Hawks to upset the Knicks, aren't you? I know you are.
Why would I?
I know you are. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me.
Jalen Johnson is the best player on the court. I'm saying it right now. Jalen Johnson, Mr. Triple-Double. He should be second team All-NBA. He is the best player on the court. I am calling it. No Trae Young. Still, the Hawks own New York City. Atlanta owns New York City. And the Hawks win in 6.
6. Wow. 6. I mean, the Knicks did beat the Hawks in a game not too long ago, which was important for both teams. Everybody played their top guys. Everyone played hard. That CJ McCollum shot should have counted just because it rolled, but it didn't because he didn't get it off in time. It was a close game, though. It was a 3-point game. It's not like it was a blowout or anything. I don't think the Hawks are going to win this series. It wouldn't shock me if it goes 7, though. It really wouldn't shock me if it goes 7.
I think these two teams match up really well with one another. That was my Knicks hater side of me coming out. But if I'm looking at this objectively, I think that these two teams match up really well. That's why I think they're going to have the best first round series in the Eastern Conference. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes 7, but I can see it closing out in 6 at the very least. Either way, if the Knicks are going to win, if I'm looking at this objectively, the Knicks do have the better team, and they should with the win in 6 games. But if I'm looking at it not objectively, which I will, it's the Hawks in 6. Hawks are going to get this win. Jalen Johnson averaging a triple 25, 10 and 10 triple double during this series.
25, 10 and 10. Okay.
We'll 20, see. 10, 10.
I'm looking forward to it. I think this was worst case scenario for the Knicks. The Hawks were they faltered a little bit down the stretch, but at one point they'd won like 12 straight, and they were the hottest team in the league in the second half of the year. So, and they're a tough team to play against, and they play really good defense. They got just enough scoring. And the Knicks, I don't know, Mike Brown's still the head coach. Like, I don't trust Mike Brown in a playoff series. I'm sorry. I just don't.
I don't either, sir. Like, people can tell me, oh, he's a great coach. Oh, he's a coach of the year candidate. I don't believe you. You need more people. Need more people. As far as the Cavs and Raptors, that's not a good shout for Cleveland either, because Cleveland has well-known playoff dropper, playoff fumbler James Harden, and that young team in Toronto is dangerous. But I wouldn't be surprised if that went to 7 as well, because of how the Cavs don't always come up in the playoffs the way they're supposed to, and they have these close series with teams that they on paper they're much better than. This is what they've been known for over the years. Now you also got James Harden, but I'm gonna say the Cavs win in 6.
Yeah, I think Cavs in 6 as well. It's not that like I'm a super believer in James Harden. I do more or less believe in Donovan Mitchell. The Raptors are just a funky team to me. I mean, you want to talk about like playoff droppers and stuff. Like the Raptors get their scoring from Brandon Ingram. And Brandon Ingram ain't exactly a guy who's like lit it up in the playoffs. So I do like Scotty Barnes. I think he's going to show up big in the playoffs. I think, but his scoring is like inconsistent. He's obviously more of a defensive guy. RJ Barrett, is that who you're going to get offense from?
That's your big three. That's your big three right there.
Yeah, like Emmanuel Quickly, like, he can provide some offense. They're just
good facilitator.
Yeah, there's just not a ton. Like the Raptors are gonna have to grind out games, and I don't think they're gonna be able to grind out enough games. I think at least 1 or 2 games they're gonna get completely overwhelmed by Cleveland and that offense. And then you're looking at, okay, well, now you're down 2 games, or Cleveland's won 2 games. So Cleveland just has to find a way to win 2 more games. I think Cleveland can win at least 1 grindy game, 1 game that's like close, and Donovan Mitchell can come up with big buckets. And then Cleveland will find a way to win another game. I just don't see how the Raptors have quite enough to win 4 games. But maybe they do. Maybe they do. But I feel pretty confident in Cleveland in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Cleveland. Now, if it's Cleveland versus Pistons in the next round, I don't know about that one for you, especially if Cade is back and healthy. So we'll see.
Cade returned at the end of the season. Cade returned at the end of the season.
No, I'm saying healthy.
So.
I'm saying healthy. If he's fully healthy, we'll see.
Yeah, Mobley and Allen, they're question marks for Cleveland. Again, I think in this matchup, they'll be okay. Now, they face Detroit, different story, because Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren, much different matchup than Jakob Poeltl. Like, that's going to be a tough one for them against Detroit. But I think this matchup against the Raptors, I think Allen and Mobley will be okay. Scotty Barnes is going to give them hell, though. Like, Scotty Barnes is going to he's going to be really tough on them. But
he's one of the best forwards in the league.
Yeah. I just don't know how if he's going to be fully enough for them. So we shall see on that. All right, we'll have more playoff talk next week with everything. We'll talk Thursday, play-in game, kind of recap with everything. But it's looking like a big dynamite this week. So
are we gonna give a big playoff predictions? Are we doing playoff predictions?
You want to do that now, or you want to do it? I mean, I guess we could do it now simply because, like, I don't think either of us are picking a play-in team to win. So
yeah, so that doesn't really matter. I think we're still going to say that the Pistons and the Celtics and the Spurs and the Thunder are going to the second round. So
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, you wanna all right? You wanna do playoff predictions? Real quickly, he's not coaching any team. He's taking a front office job in Milwaukee.
I can see
Yeah,
that.
and I'm that's not a prediction. That's a
It's a
spoiler.
spoiler.
Yeah. He's taking a front office job in Milwaukee. I don't think he's coaching anywhere.
The
I think
fact that
he's
you
done
let him
coaching.
resign is a big indicator of that as well.
He so Milwaukee's one of the teams I cover, and so I've had to listen to way too much Doc Rivers than I would like, but it's very obvious that he's going to remain with Milwaukee. He's going to take some type of front office job, and they're going to go from there. Yeah, I would be very shocked. I'm not a reporter or anything. I'm just kind of really reading the tea leaves on this stuff. I'd be really surprised if he coaches next year and he's not in a front office job with Milwaukee. So there you go. All right, what do you have prediction wise for the playoffs?
All right, so we already said the top two seeds in both conferences are winning out.
Yeah.
So in the West, F it. Lakers in 7.
Okay.
Lakers in
I'm
7.
not mad at that. I'm not mad
We
at
win,
that.
we win one of those games. Luka comes back unhealthy at like 70%, and he's able to drive us over the finish line and get it done against the Rockets, who offense is too inconsistent and they don't have a point guard still. So I will go with Lakers in 7, and then I'll put my objective hat on. Since I wasn't objective with that series, I'll be objective and I'll say Nuggets in 6 against the Timberwolves.
I don't fully disagree with either of those. I have Nuggets as well. I think 6 is a good call. I could see it going 7, but it feels easy to pick 7. 6 feels like it's more difficult to pick. So I'll go 6. Lakers and Rockets obviously comes down to Luka and Reeves. I think it's Rockets in 5 if there's no Luka or Reeves. I think if one of them, just one of them, comes back by game 4, I think it's going 7. And depending on what their game 7 lineup looks like, if they get both of them back, I'm picking the Lakers to win. If they only get one of them back, I still favor Houston. Unless it's Luka, then I might honestly favor the Lakers. Reeves, I'm less sold on making like a series shifting impact. And then if they have neither of them, yeah, I think it's Rockets in 5, honestly.
Yeah.
I know that's not like a real great prediction, but so much of it just like does depend on Luka and Reeves, because I'm sure you're not picking Lakers in 7 if Luka and Reeves are out the entire series.
No, it's Rockets in 5. I'll give LeBron 1 win if it's LeBron on his own. But yeah, but it doesn't matter for the Lakers. I'm just saying Lakers in 7 to be optimistic, because then we would get swept by the Thunder in the next round.
Even if everybody's healthy.
If Luka's there, we'll get 1 game. If a not 100% Luka's there, then we get 1 game, but it's still Thunder and a gentleman's sweep. And then Spurs and Nuggets, I think that's definitely going 7. Yeah. Spurs and Nuggets is going 7, and I'm gonna go with the Spurs.
I'm kind of leaning towards the Spurs, but that's such a tough matchup for them. Because Jokic is a guy who, like, he doesn't neutralize Wemby, obviously. But Wemby doesn't have the same impact against Jokic, because Jokic can just do everything. And he can either make the pass out of it, or he can, do the Sombor shuffle and shoot over Wemby. Like, Jokic just, he knows how to deal. And he's so much bigger, like, he can kind of bully Wemby in some ways. I'd probably go Spurs in 7, but it wouldn't surprise me, obviously, if the Nuggets won in 7. It wouldn't surprise me if the Nuggets won in 6, because as much as I do think the Spurs are great, And if the Spurs make the Western Conference Finals, I'm gonna pick them to beat the Thunder because I never pick my team, and that's just how lame I am. But the thing about the Spurs is like they truly haven't been like tested in that
No.
way. You know, like they are not used to the playoff physicality. I don't know how like really banged up Wemby is with this rib injury. He said that if he didn't need to meet the 65 game requirement, he probably wouldn't have played in these last two games. He obviously didn't play in the last game, but he said he wouldn't have played in the game prior to that. If his rib like is bothering him, Nikola Jokic banging into him for 6 or 7 games is not going to be great on those ribs. So
That's a good
it's a
point.
different kind of physicality in the playoffs. And all of their top guys, with the exception of De'Aaron Fox, have never dealt with that. And De'Aaron Fox has dealt with it for one series that they lost. So it's not like De'Aaron Fox has like some great playoff history where it's like, oh, yeah, you can, he'll figure all of this out. So and it's completely different as far as not only physicality but schemes and everything. Like I watched this plenty last year with Shea, and the Nuggets just threw like 20 different defenses at him in one game, and some stuff worked and some stuff didn't. But the stuff that did work, they kept going back to it, and eventually Shea figured it out enough. But now Wemby's got to deal with that, and Wemby's not a great playmaker. Like he's I'm not even sure he's a good playmaker at this stage in his career. So can he figure that out? Can Castle figure that out? Can Vassell figure that out? Like it's just a different. It's a whole different season than the actual regular season, and that's where I worry about the Spurs. Like I think the experience stuff is a little overrated as far as like, oh, you got to have the experience, you got to have it. But there's obviously something to it, right? There's a reason why teams don't go from, and this happened to the Thunder 2 years ago. There's a reason why teams don't go from not in the playoffs to winning the championship. There's a reason why most teams throughout history, unless there's been some dramatic shift in where they were or what they've done, have had to take their playoff lumps. Like we talk about Jordan didn't win his first year. He had to take his playoff lump. Like every team,
Yeah.
every great player had to take playoff lumps. And the Spurs haven't had to yet. And so it's tough for me to be like, oh yeah, they're just gonna win the title without having to do that. So that's why I kind of lean towards the Nuggets in a second round. But it wouldn't shock me if the Spurs win.
I'm going with the Spurs in 7, but yeah, it's gonna be a toss up once if it goes to 7 games. It's gonna be a toss up, and it may just be the Nuggets having the experience to get the win. So either way, I think also in the conference finals, we're going to have a 7 game series as well, because I think that if it's Thunder versus, or it's at least 6 games, because I think if it, like you said, if it's a banged up Wemby who just went through a 7 game series with the Nuggets, that might be able, y'all have the experience, y'all have the more cohesive team. I think y'all will get that job done in 6 games. And it's also all these media heads that are very much overrating the wins that the Spurs had, even though the Spurs have beaten a healthy Thunder team. I think the regular season and playoffs, you're going to see a different Thunder team. They're more experienced. They're the NBA champions. They are battle tested over the last couple of years, where I think that they will be able to eat up the lunch of these young men over in San Antonio. So I would probably take y'all in 6 against the Spurs, but if it's the Nuggets, I think it's another 7 game series for y'all. But I still think Thunder win in 7.
People, I think, put too much stock into the Spurs wins against the Thunder because like they beat them 3 times. I'm not gonna pretend like those games did not happen, but I think overall people put too much stock in the regular season when it comes to these matchups because, as I just said, the playoffs are a different beast. I'll continue to point to the Timberwolves last year when the Timberwolves beat the Thunder 3 times, and then they met in the Western Conference Finals, and what happened? Like
Yeah.
it didn't matter, those regular season games. But they always point to, oh, look what the Spurs did against the Thunder in these 3 games, and they completely ignore the Thunder beating them in the last game and beating them kind of with ease. It's just It's not a thing that exists in that world.
It's
So
a selective narrative. That's what
yeah.
most of the NBA media has.
Yeah. Look, and Greg makes a good point. I mentioned Fox. Yeah, Barnes, Cornette, and Olenek have playoff success. Let's not pretend like Kelly Olynyk's gonna play any minutes in a playoff
Yeah.
series. Luke
Let's stop
Cornette,
acting
sure.
like Barnes didn't play with the Splash Brothers and Draymond Green. Like, what are we
Right,
talking about?
right. Like Luke Cornette provides good veteran leadership. He plays good minutes behind Wimby. Harrison Barnes is a good veteran guy who he plays his role with San Antonio. It's still different than being a lead guy on the team and figuring out in that way. But they are there. They can at least talk and give the experience in that way of like, hey, this is kind of what you're going to go through. If Wimby gets down or Castle gets down, you have a veteran to lean on who has been through that kind of stuff.
And,
But
and Fox has his experience. He doesn't have the success, but he has experience in the playoffs.
He has one series of experience. I'm not.
Hey, that's experience.
Sure.
Experience is experience.
He has one series.
One of the best first round series.
It was a great first round
series of 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was a great first round series, but they still lost. No, I know King Greg, and you're right to point that out because I didn't point that out because I was talking about their top guys and how their top guys have no experience. And when it comes to the playoffs, like I think your top guys all need that experience. You can have veteran guys and it's good. Like I think if OKC had Caruso instead of Giddey the first year where they lost to Dallas, I don't think it would have made that big of a difference. I truly don't think it would have because I don't think like Dub probably still would have played the same. Chet would have still been overwhelmed by the duo of Gafford and Lively and everything. And Shea would have still needed to figure things out. I think that experience they got that series, Shea, Chet, and Dub, counted for more than the addition of Caruso the following year and Hartenstein. Hartenstein was in some ways a bigger addition than Caruso because of the rebounding problems, but your top guys got to go through and take those lumps, and you can't just rely on like the veteran guys to do that. And the top guys for San Antonio haven't taken those lumps. Depending on who the Thunder play in the Western Conference Finals, I'll say the Spurs beat them. I picked the Nuggets to win the title to start the year, so I'll say the Spurs or Nuggets beat the Thunder. Yes, I know I'm picking against my team. I always pick against my team. It's what I do.
That's just what he does. But yeah, I'm going Thunder to make it out of the Western Conference. In the Eastern Conference, like I said, I think the top two seeds are making it through to the next round. Knicks and Hawks, I will put my bias cap on and I will say Hawks in 6, and then Cavs and Raptors, I'm going with Cavs. I'll take the Cavs in 5 or 6. I don't know. I'm not that high on the Raptors. So then Cavs versus Pistons, I'm gonna go with the Pistons in 6.
Yeah, I think Pistons over Cavs as well. I think we're getting a Celtics-Knicks rematch. As much as I think the Hawks will trouble the Knicks, the league's going to rig it for the Celtics and the Knicks.
Probably so. Unfortunately, you're probably right. But if it's Hawks versus Celtics, I'm taking the Celtics in 5. If it's Celtics versus Knicks, I'll take the Celtics in 7.
The Knicks last year, obviously they figured something out against the Celtics. Can they do it again? I don't know, because a lot of the issues with the Celtics where they just blew big leads and then choked down the stretch, it wasn't like the Knicks outplayed them in every game. I throw out the Tatum injury because the Knicks are already up 3-1 and well on their way to winning that series. So I don't put as much stock. Or maybe they're up 2-1 and well on their way to winning game 3 to go up 3-1. I don't put as much stock into the Tatum injury, like affecting that series as maybe other people do. Like the Knicks were controlling that series.
The Knicks were in firm control already.
Yeah.
So.
But I also think that maybe the Celtics they're different this year compared to the Knicks. I just don't trust Mike Brown. I really don't. As much as I didn't like fully believe in Tom Thibodeau, I kind of believed in him more than Mike Brown in a playoff setting. So I would go the Celtics to set up Celtics Pistons.
So Celtics Pistons in the conference finals. I'm gonna go with Celtics in 6.
That's fair. That's fair. I like the Celtics over the Pistons. I think it's going to be tough, though. I look at Detroit, and the advantages are I don't love Boston's size compared to Detroit. Vucevic has been hurt. He should be back for the playoffs. He might have been back in the last regular season game or two. But I don't love him defensively. I think Durant can like really kind of have his way with Vucevic. Nemas Quaidus, is he going to be good enough in this setting? I don't know. There's advantages for Detroit against Boston. I still lean towards Boston. It feels like that one might go 7.
Fair. And then finals, I got Boston versus the Thunder. I'm going with the Thunder to go back-to-back in 6 games.
I'll go with the Nuggets. I picked the Nuggets to start the year. I'll keep on with the Nuggets. I won't move off that.
Keep on keeping on.
I won't move off that. All right, there you go. The Knicks were minutes up from being 3-1. They were in control of that series. Yeah. I don't think
but they also had that miraculous comeback. So I don't know if that's going to happen again this year.
And that's what I mentioned is like they did have like the Celtics just kind of blew leads that they should not have blown, and you can't count on that happening again. Although the NBA playoffs, it feels like every single series there's multiple blown leads when it comes to this stuff. So we shall see on that. All right, let's get into, unfortunately, wrestling talk. I didn't do a poll question today. I didn't do a banner today. And
as long as it's not be nice to Joel, who wanted to do that?
Joel did a good job at the press conference. Joel was tired. I don't know if Joel had any sleep after flying cross country. So I agree with you on most times, but you know.
Who watches the press conference?
I do like I do have a poll question. I think I know everyone's answer, but I'm curious as to what the results are going to be from our chat. So here we go. I'm not going to spoil what it is. You'll see it when you see it. Okay. It has to do with wrestling, and it has to do with a WrestleMania match. I'm just curious to see who's going to troll and who's being truthful and what the overall results look like. So there you go, folks. Who do you want to win WrestleMania? Should have been at WrestleMania. I don't care. You get it. Femi, Brock Lesnar. Vote in the chat. Type your 1s or your 2s in the chat.
Who's the 1s and who's the 2s?
I'm very curious to see if anybody picks 2. That was the main reason and that's why I did want, not who do you think will. Because exactly. I'm still leaning towards Brock winning this match.
Yeah, those are 2 different questions. And we did not get the caveat that we said previously of Brock's gonna get the 1-up on Oba one of these weeks. We never got that. We never got that at all.
Yeah, I still think that I think Brock's winning this. I really do. I hope I'm wrong, but it feels like he's gonna win. Great promo last night from Oba. I mean,
yes,
the best thing on
part
the show.
Of the show.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. The crowd was rocking with him the entire time. Like, that dude's so over. Like, honestly, like if you just watched last night's show, you'd be like, there's no way this guy can lose. Like, you can't be stupid enough to have him lose. You should have him, and it's on ESPN, so it's the opening match. Like, you can make somebody off of this. Brock's not sticking around. You know, I guess he might do the retirement match. Who voted?
And I think it plays more into the story of him being ready to have that retirement matchup.
Yeah.
If he loses. Oba says he's the one who ended the beast. He gets to hold that on his chest and wear that like a badge of honor. It makes more sense for Oba to win here, to set up the retirement matchup, more than just keeping Brock strong so he can when someone beats him in his retirement, it counts more. No. Stop thinking like that. The right move is for Oba Femi to win on Sunday. Like, this feels like the no-brainer decision, except if you, like me, have watched this company for 30 years and just is like, they are not known for making these right decisions, especially when it comes to people like Brock Lesnar, and especially when it's a black man against Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. I think Brock's winning, but again, if you watched last night and you watched Oba's promo, like, if there was any knock really on Oba, it would be like, okay, what can you do in like a promo setting like this, a back and forth? And this wasn't a full on back and forth, even though Heyman was out there.
And they don't really do a lot of
it.
back and forths like that anymore. It seems like it's always you go, I go type promos nowadays, instead of an actual promo exchange.
Yeah. He absolutely crushed it though. Like, the emotion, the fire, the way he was waiting on the crowd with everything. Like, man, I walked away from this whole thing like, this is the biggest star on this show. Like, what are we doing if you aren't making this guy at WrestleMania and you aren't putting him over Brock and then honestly putting the title on him the next night? Like, what are we doing out here? But it's WWE.
It's WWE. That's the issue here. This seems like a no-brainer. You have Oba Femi get the win here, but it's not a no-brainer when it comes to this company. Like, it's just, oh, why would you do it? Why would you do such a thing? But it's like, we're gonna be on pins and needles for this matchup. This is the only kind of result that I really care about for the entire weekend. Out of all the matches, this is the result that needs to happen, and this is the one that I'm most like anxious about going into this weekend.
Yeah, this feels like the most important result match as well, because, all right, fine, Cody and Orton. Apparently, we're getting that dumb tag team match.
I don't care, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care. I refuse to care after the run that SmackDown has been on has been embarrassing. No one should watch the last few episodes of SmackDown. And God bless Kate. I see her; she's in the chat. God bless you for having to review this damn show. Thankfully, you got Cresta, who can make anything entertaining to talk about. But it's been embarrassing the last few weeks of Friday Night SmackDown. It's objectively one of the worst weekly television shows that I think I've ever seen. It is rightfully getting comparisons to WCW Nitro in the year 2000, because that's how bad it's been since the Pat McAfee reveal. But like, I don't care about that at all. But Oba and Brock, it's been the best feud going into WrestleMania. They have legitimately made Oba look like a future top star, like the newest top star in all of WWE. You got to stick the landing here. You got to have Oba win.
All right, here's my pitch, SP3. I already know you're going to hate it. I think everyone's going to hate it. That's okay. Brock wins, right? Brock wins. Stick with me, everybody. Brock wins, but it's through like a nefarious mean. He hits like a low blow or something. So it's not like a clean victory, right? Triple H comes down. And Triple H is like, no, we can't have it end like that. He hit the low blow. We can't end it like that. They restart the match, and then Oba wins, because we accomplished 3 things there. SP3, like The Rock did. 1, 2, 3. I don't know what he did. We accomplished 3 things. Brock gets protected because he wins. Oba gets protected because he wins. And Triple H gets on the show in a very important role, which is the most important thing that we have to accomplish here. So that's where I'm going.
Most important thing
I'm
possible.
going. That's where I'm going with my finish here. Don't rule it out, everybody. That's all I'm saying. Don't rule it out.
Because why was he out there yesterday? He did nothing.
He got 2.
Nothing.
He got to be out there twice.
He got to be out there twice, and he did nothing. Nothing either time.
It's hilarious. I was so happy when he came out the second time. I was like, oh, he's out there the first time. Over his short, whatever. He had no reason to come out there both times. Like, he was so unnecessary. I'm saying he keeps coming out there because he knows this is the best thing on the show and into WrestleMania, and he's like, this is me. I'm part of this.
I'm in charge of this. I'm not in charge of that stuff on Fridays. I'm in charge of this.
No,
right
I got
here
nothing to do.
All me. It's all
I got nothing
me.
to do. I got nothing to do with that McAfee stuff. And nothing there. And Roman and Punk are like, no, go away. We don't want you out here. But he's like, Oba.
Move on.
Oba and Brock, we got something. Y'all wait until this match happens and it plays out exactly like I say it's going to play out. I'm taking a giant victory lap if it does. The biggest victory lap in ITW history. Although we took a pretty big one.
Or he's just going to come out to announce that this Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar matchup is a Slim Jim Battle of the Behemoths matchup.
Okay, I like that. I like Slim Jim.
He's gonna do it. It's gonna be an ad tie-in and everything. We're gonna see him. We're gonna see him on one of these nights of WrestleMania. He's gonna start off the show. Are you ready? I said, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the billions watching on ESPN Unlimited and around the world. Ooh, let's get ready for WrestleMania! This is what we do. Did you enjoy the show? All part of the show.
You should say it's for the hundreds in attendance because we couldn't sell enough tickets because...
Hey, no. Everybody who is talking trash about Pat McAfee and his Ram-sponsored 25% off, it worked. 2,000 feet sold for night 1 of WrestleMania. Well, the putrid. That night 2, nobody wants to watch that crap. Only sold 600 tickets.
Yeah, it worked. I saw the latest WrestleTix update, and I saw it was 2,000 extra for night 1 compared to 600 extra for night 2. I was like, I guess night 2 does suck. I guess it is ass. All right, we don't need to watch that.
I wouldn't suggest you buying that show.
So Oba and his promo was really good. Brock did a promo early in the night. Who could possibly care? But
he said one line. I thought Paul Heyman was really good last night.
Yeah.
He was good with the opening promo. He was even better during the Oba segment, talking about, you're gonna lose, but my door is still open for you. It's like he's admitting that he sees what's about to happen. He sees the potential of Oba Femi, and he's like, I'll hitch my wagon to him just in case. I open the door for you. You can come on in.
Yeah. Show closed with Roman Reigns, and all right, before the show closed, the show opened with this Roman Reigns video package, and I didn't mind this video package as it was going.
He told no lies.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Where Roman's calling Punk a hypocrite, and he's saying that, you're trying to revise my history and everything. And then they played the part of the Pat McAfee's promo calling out Punk. And he's like, the fans trust me more. They believe in me more, And now later on tonight, You got to come out here and you got to tell the truth, or else I'm going to continue to expose you. And then it closed with the goofiest. This message has been approved by the tribal chief. And I was
Well,
like, you killed this whole thing.
CM Punk said that in his promo last week. I am
You
CM Punk and I approve this message. He said this message has been approved by
sure in a promo, fine. In this like video package thing and the delivery of it and just how goofy it was, like this did not fit at all. This was so goofy. Like like you killed this whole aura.
It made it sound like a campaign speech or a campaign commercial. Yeah.
Which I think
the promo before that was really good. I like the fact that he exposed Punk for all the lies and hypocritical things that he's made. I didn't like him saying that I like Pat McAfee. You're basically making, once again, Pat McAfee a part of the two biggest programs heading into WrestleMania. But I like that he mentioned that was the only good line that Pat McAfee said, that he was actually right, that Punk is a hypocrite saying lower ticket prices, but you're not willing to give any of your TKO merch money to them. You willing to say sorry to Saudi Arabia, but you ain't willing to do anything about the higher ticket prices.
I mean, it was a campaign speech. It was a campaign ad, but it didn't seem like it fit this at all. Like they were just better off doing the straightforward cinema thing and then not doing that line. The McAfee stuff, like, it's just part of it now. Like, Punk addressed it last week, and then McAfee shot back on SmackDown, so they kind of had to use it here in some ways. So, at least it wasn't part of their closing promo with everything. So, I didn't, like, hate that they used the McAfee stuff there. I was way more offended by the closing line of this promo. This has been approved by the tribal chief. It's just the goofiest delivery as well. Closing segment. Roman comes out, gets a media cut off once again. And then Punk takes like 20 hours to get to the ring. Comes to the crowd because he's a member of the Shield. Stands on the desk. And he starts with, "Tell me when I'm telling lies." But then he talks about like all of his reasons why he hates Roman or doesn't hate him. And I'm like, I don't know if you're lying. These are your thoughts and feelings. These aren't facts out here. Oh. When he kept going, tell me when I'm telling lies.
I thought he was. This was the most honest CM Punk promo. This is probably the Punk's best promo of like the exchanges that they've had together in the build up to WrestleMania. I like the fact that they finally acknowledged what Punk said about Sika, and that Punk actually had some regret about that, and he genuinely apologized over it. And that was the only reason why Roman let him come into the ring without beating his ass. And then I like the fact that he explained why he hates, and that he was finally honest, that he tried to always play it off. Roman in the first promo said, "I hate you, and this is why I hate you, for everything that you've done." But Punk was basically like, he doesn't really, he hates him. He hates the fact that he hates him because he's jealous. He's envious of Roman Reigns, that Roman Reigns has gotten all the opportunities that he's fought so hard for, that Roman Reigns has a reign that eclipsed what Punk was able to achieve with the 434-day reign, which was also referenced in Roman's promo at the beginning of the show, where he brought up that. And then he talks about the 1316, and he hates that number because he knows how hard Roman Reigns worked and how great he had to be to work at that, to get that achievement and that legacy that he has. He hates the fact of how many WrestleManias he's main evented. It added a bunch of layers to this whole rivalry that they've had, that there is still that underlying respect that they have for one another and their accomplishments in wrestling. So I really enjoy. I think this was probably their second strongest promo exchange of the whole rivalry. Their first one is still the best, but this was the second best because I thought that Punk's delivery was great, and this was the first time to me during their exchanges that Punk legitimately won. He was the better promo. He eloquently explained his hatred and why he envies, why he's so jealous of Roman Reigns, and the fact that he hates Roman Reigns, that he doesn't want to be as envious as that, and he hates himself for that. That was so well done by Punk. I thought that Punk was amazing in that promo exchange.
I think Punk needs to go to therapy and not get all of this out on national television. If he hates this man that much for all of these reasons, he needs to address this with a professional, not spill out on national television. Now, I thought it was a great promo. I didn't think the whole "tell me when I'm telling lies" part like fit with this, because he's saying I hate all these things about you, and these are the reasons that I hate you. And he could have been lying. He could maybe not hate him for these reasons. Again, these are his feelings and thoughts. These are not facts.
He's telling the truth. So, you could tell that he's telling the truth. He's telling the truth. That's when he cuts his best promos, when he says, "Tell me when I'm telling lies." And I like the fact that Roman said, the last part, that was a lie. That was a lie. He was like, "You're not gonna walk out the champion," and stuff. Like Roman's response was pretty weak in comparison to Punk's delivery and the content that was in his promo. But I thought overall this was one of the better segments that these two guys have had, and the fact that everybody else on the show was kind of zigging with pull apart brawls, except for Oba and Brock, and they weren't even in the same segment together, so they just kept them apart completely. But everybody on the show was brawling to kind of heat up their WrestleMania programs. And I like the fact that Punk and Roman decided to zag instead of zig like everybody else. And they showed that there was a lot of hatred at play here, but there's still that underlying respect for one another. And I like the fact that Roman's response was, "The thing I hate about you the most is not everything I said in that first promo. The thing I hate about you the most is that you are so connected to the fans." So it adds that layer of these two men that hate each other also are envious of one another. Roman has all the opportunities, but he never had that love and adulation from the fans. That's why he starts off every promo with "acknowledge me," because he's always had this kind of weird back and forth relationship with the fans, where they hated him when he was getting all the opportunities, and then when he finally became a heel, they finally loved him and accepted him. But he still wants that love and adulation that Punk had, where he left the company and they cheered for him and they chanted for his name for 10 years and they missed him so much. He wished that he had that. He wished that when he leaves eventually that they chant for him and miss him the way that they miss Punk. And Punk is envious of Roman because he has the love and the adulation of the fans, but he never got the opportunity. He's never had the chance to main event 10 WrestleManias. He never will, because he's so old, like we've established in this whole program. So I like that layered type of story. I just wish that everything in between the first promo and the last promo made sense for all of that. I think that if they would have stopped with all the bloodline lore and cheap low-hanging fruit like the late father line, if they would have had a more constructive promos that basically told that story and it paid off in this promo exchange, I think that everybody would be much more hyped for this matchup, and we would be saying that this is the best built matchup heading into WrestleMania instead of Oba and Brock.
This was a love letter, not a death threat when it came to these promos. I did like this closing segment overall. They didn't need to brawl because they've already done that twice. So like each man got the up on the other guy. So you didn't need to do another brawl. We've already seen this show had what? It had the Liv and Stephanie brawl. It had the Seth and Gunther brawl. All these brawls suck compared to the Americano brawl anyway. So don't even try it at this point.
Triple A, the best WWE produced show, and that was the best WWE produced angle of the year, was that Americano brawl.
Yeah, so we don't even need to see these brawls out here. I thought it was a really strong, effective segment. I can understand why people thought it was a little bit weak as like a closer where it came out, because it just kind of ended. And Roman's portion felt so short compared to Punk, because I mean it was short compared to Punk's. Like Roman, it only said like one thing he could really hate about Punk, and then it was back to why he's going to win and everything, and like this little charity run is over. So I can understand why people thought it was like, oh wait, that's the big kind of closing angle for WrestleMania. They could have played tug of war with the title. I mean, that would have been
that's worked. That's worked. That's worked in the past. So
could have done like a glance at the title. We
could have done a press conference backstage.
Yeah.
There's a couple of different directions they could have went here. So.
I didn't mind this whole thing overall. Like you said, it got disjointed in the middle, especially with like, hey, let's insert the Usos into this. It's like, let's not insert the Usos into this. We don't really need them. Although Jimmy was great in those segments. I actually think Jay was good in those segments too. Like I think they added something in some ways, but it was a little unnecessary. They at least wrapped up the Sika stuff where he did apologize and he did realize, all right, I was in the wrong for that one. My bad. Oh, yeah, I thought it was effective. Who do you think? Do you think either man sold them winning on Sunday? Because I'll continue to go back to last year and Rollins' promo before WrestleMania on that SmackDown. He sold me he was winning that match. I was like, oh man, this is good stuff by Seth. Like I truly think he's like going to win this match after this. Did either man like sell you that he was going to win this match here?
I don't think that was the point of this promo. This promo was to put a bow on the talking segments and really kind of have a thorough line, and they can make it look good in the video packages, all of the in between. But they have the first promo that established this matchup, and they have this last promo that kind of puts the bow on it. I think that they established this hatred that they have for one another, but this respect, and how this is going to be a battle of two of the biggest stars in the company. But I don't think that either one of them kind of convince me that they're winning. They did a good job of making that result is another one that I am interested in. I'm not as interested in it as I am Oba and Brock, but that is one that the difference between that one and the Oba and Brock one, I know who should win and I know who I want to win. It's the same answer. It's Oba Femi. With Roman and Punk, I don't know what the right decision is. Is the right decision to stick with CM Punk because he's going to be there full time? Or is the right decision to put the title back on Roman Reigns because he is the face of this boom period? Like, regardless of what Triple H or Cody Rhodes want to convince you, TKO knows it, Ari Emanuel knows it, that Roman Reigns is the guy who led the charge for this company into their boom period over the last couple of years. So do you put the title back on him and hope that he can gain some momentum, and hope Oba Femi, someone like him, or a Braun Breaker, if they decide to re-hit him up, those guys that are next up beat Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship? That means more than beating someone like CM Punk. Me personally, yes, duh. But it's a toss-up decision when it comes to how the company feels about that.
I think Roman has sold me more on him winning through his media appearances than
that is true.
His promos, because that's how he sold me he was winning the Rumble when he was on McAfee's show. He's like, the creative sucks. I gave them 2 years to figure this shit out and they couldn't. Tribal Chief is back. We taking this shit back now because they can't. They don't know what they're doing out here. I was like, oh yeah, this man's winning the Rumble. He has to win the Rumble. And now through his latest media appearance where he's like, I want to show that there's a difference between the belt being on this guy and the belt being on me, and how I can elevate it even if I'm not there. I was like, oh, yeah, it feels like he's taking that back to prove that point again. Oh, I kind of think Roman is winning on Sunday.
Yeah,
we shall see.
And I just want to address this because I see some people in the chat saying this. So I lived through the 2010s where New Japan Pro Wrestling had the best booking. They were the best promotion, and Gato was the best booker in the company. But in professional wrestling at that time, and I had to live through a whole bunch of WWE fans that were trying to tell me that Triple H was the best booker and that Triple H is going to take over Vince's job and he's going to be so much better at it. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be incredible. And myself, I knew that it wasn't really Triple H booking NXT. It was Ryan Ward, and Triple H was trying to take credit for the store manager because he's the GM of the store. That's basically the equivalent for people who's worked at like retail stores. That's basically the equivalent of what Triple H was doing in the 2010s. And I'm here to tell you, it's what the Undertaker is doing in AAA, because he has Jeremy Borash, who has years of experience, who's really doing all the booking. And no, the Undertaker is not that good at booking. And he's booked one hot angle. Let's calm the down. Like, what are y'all talking about? He's booked one hot angle, and it's with people that don't even work for AAA. They work for WWE. It's an American and a German. What the hell are you wrong with y'all?
We're not going to disrespect the booking of The Undertaker in this house. It's one hot angle. It's still one hotter angle than WWE's had for most of the year. So, yeah, and it's between this. So I said yesterday, and I'll say it again today. Undertaker knows how to get something like an American and a German playing luchadors over because he spent years as The Undertaker. He was like, I got to get Giant Gonzalez over. I got to get Mabel over. I got to get a fake Undertaker over. Like, I got to get Kane over. Like, the Kane story makes no sense. It really doesn't. And yet it somehow worked. Undertaker got all of this stuff over because he was Undertaker and he made it all work. Triple H didn't have to do any of that. Foley got himself over. Foley got Triple H over. So Triple H didn't have to get anybody over like that. He didn't have to get stuff over. Shawn Michaels, same thing. Shawn Michaels worked with all the top guys. Who'd Shawn actually put over? He just had great matches with people. That's why his whole NXT booking is just, he's doing his career again. Undertaker had to get some dumb shit over. So he's like, oh, you're giving me a American and a German, and they're playing luchadors, but they're playing like the same luchador. This is what you're giving me to work? Okay. All right. We're going to make this work then, folks. And he's making it work. All credit to The Undertaker. None to Jeremy Borash. What has he ever done?
All credit to Jeremy Borash. all credit to Ryan Ward. Ryan Ward's still right there. He's still Triple H is still taking credit for Ryan Ward's genius still to this day on the main roster now. Y'all gotta start appreciating the middle management that are actually doing the work while these former greats that you have nostalgia for take the credit.
No one cares about the middle management people at SP3. We know this. They're not on television. Who cares? They're not backstage taking the point photo, you know? Like, no one cares about them. Maybe when they do AAA Unreal, we will learn more about Jeremy Borash, and we can see which ideas he has. I'm convinced Triple H tells Bruce Pritchard and Michael Hayes,
Jeremy Borash worked a decade in TNA. I think he has more responsibility for Americano storyline than freaking The Undertaker.
I need AAA Unreal to confirm this for me. As I was saying, I think Triple H tells everyone to pitch their terrible ideas, like, hey, yeah, pitch McAfee beating Gunther, pitch what other shitty pitches did they come with on Unreal? Whatever, pitch I was gonna say Road Dogg winning the Royal Rumble, which might have been a pitch, I don't know, but pitch this terrible thing, and then I can look like a genius when I don't agree with it. We need AAA Unreal to see if what Jeremy Borash is actually pitching.
Well, I guess we'll get that in like 2030 or something like that.
I did have Super Chat from Followed. So I got I got into it with some friends when I say Oba isn't a babyface. He's just a badass who beat up Brock, and that pops the crowd real hard. Badasses are typically baby
They,
faces if they're
yeah,
facing heels. Like that makes them
yeah, like that.
baby
What
faces.
are you talking about, Mala? You're usually on the money, but that didn't make any sense. He's just a badass and beat up. He's a babyface. He is definitely a
I
babyface.
mean, was Steve Austin like really a babyface? He was a badass who
He,
was going up against the top heel. That made him a
yeah,
babyface.
yeah. He was an anti-hero that went against authority, and that made him a babyface. Yeah.
And it works the same way. Like there are badass heels and they beat up baby faces, but that makes them heels effectively. Like
Yeah.
Brock's a heel because he's a badass who beat up John Cena. We all love John Cena. That makes Brock the heel. Like they don't do anything like super dastardly or underhanded or anything. They're just a lot depends on who the opponent is. And in this case, the opponent's an effective heel in Brock and Heyman, so that makes Oba the babyface in this.
And a world beater in 2026, that makes you the babyface. That the crowd is automatically going to view you as the top guy, like Roman Reigns, and from 2020 to 2024, he was a world beater, but that made him get the positive reactions from the fans until they were able to build up Cody to be the babyface to kind of take the mantle from him, and still Roman Reigns is viewed as that guy, and that's why he became such a popular babyface after he lost the title.
Yeah. And he squashed the War Raiders. He did the thing with Kit Wilson. And Kit Wilson's a heel or a babyface, depend on who you believe or what your taste is. And in this case, Oba's a babyface. Maybe he'll be a heel. If he goes after CM Punk, he might be a heel. I don't know. We shall see. But right now, he's a babyface. Seth Rollins and Gunther, as we talked about, they got into a brawl, but then Seth got on the mic and was like, "What's up, dude?" And Gunther was like, "I hate you because you're fake and you've never been the best in the world." And then they fought some more. All right, at least we got an explanation as to why Gunther's going after him. It's a surface level explanation, but an explanation.
But Gunther knows how to make that work. Like he just
Yeah.
feels so different from every other character. Like he feels like a very old school wrestler where he wants to be known as the best. It don't matter who it is. He don't want you walking around like you're the best. When I was world heavyweight champion, you were basically Paul Heyman's lapdog. You didn't come after me. You only went to cash in your Money in the Bank briefcase after I lost the title and everything. So I understood that reasoning. I thought that was one of the stronger segments on the show last night.
And it was the reasoning is perfectly acceptable. There's nothing wrong with the reasoning being like, you were kind of ducking me. You want to say you're the best. I'm actually the best. I proved longer that I was the best. Now I'm going to prove it to you that you can't lace my boots. Nothing wrong with any of that. I actually don't need Paul Heyman's involvement in this, but Paul Heyman's involved because he's attached to Seth, and it's potentially going to lead to the Gunther and Brock Lesnar match until they reverse course and they got to insert Pat McAfee into it. Bert Kreischer has got to be insert. Oh God, they're gonna insert this dude into something. Take his shirt off and
he'll take a chop from Gunther.
Yeah, that's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad.
I prefer ring. This was more ring general Gunther instead of career killer Gunther, who's the evil foreigner who ends legends' careers and laughs about it.
Yeah.
That's what he's been over the last couple of months. This was more of a ring general Gunther wanting to prove himself that he's still the best in the world.
Charlotte and Lyra won distraction roll up. I swear, I'm tired of this finish. They overused it so much back in the day to the point that named a show after it, and now it's just like back, and it's just, oh my God, can you get away from the distraction roll-up finish, please? This was a Vince trope for the longest time, and now it's just come back around. Because
Yeah.
we had it in the Kyrie and Io match as
Yep.
well. Oh,
You see it multiple times. If you watch every WWE Weekly show, you kind of see it on multiple different
yeah.
episodes. It happens
Yeah,
more
they do it
than
like twice
once
a
per
show.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's can you not come up with a different finish? It's okay to beat somebody like clean. It's not the end of the world. It'll be all right. You don't have to do like, oh, we need to protect the loser because they got distracted and then they just got rolled up. Like, I think it does less protection because then they look stupid when that finish comes across. I was like, you really fell for this thing again? Like, didn't you just see this happen an hour ago?
I think this was Charlotte's best singles match since her return last year, though.
Hashtag about
I
that.
know the bar is very low. Is very low when it comes to that because we're basically comparing it to matches against B-Fab and Tiffany Stratton. So I'm not saying that there's a high quality here that it's being compared to, but I thought that Lyra worked really well with her. We got to see more of like Charlotte working on her own. They had good chemistry with one another. It's just the distraction finish and everything kind of takes some of that away, and it was very clunky how they got into it as well. It felt like, oh, we got to get over here into this spot so Bailey can pull the leg and get the win and stuff like that. So before the finishing sequence, I thought it was really strong.
Yeah, yeah. Io and Kyrie. Again, Kyrie won because we gotta have distraction roll up finishes. And I guess we're not getting Io and Asuka at WrestleMania.
Io Sky is like, I think like there's Io Sky, there's Gunther, there's Seth Rollins. Those are the three best in-ring workers in this company. And you're telling me that because of injuries, two of them are not getting the more logical matches that they had for WrestleMania, or the planned matches that they had at WrestleMania, so they had to face each other. And then the third is just out in the cold and can't have a matchup at WrestleMania. Even though you've been building to it for the last couple of weeks, you just said, you know what? Never mind. There's no room. We gotta do John Cena and Danhausen segment. We gotta do celebrity guests is gonna be at the show. We gotta do an angle with Tyrese Halliburton. Sorry, EO. Sorry, you're well liked by management. Everybody in the locker room seems to love you. You're over with the fans, probably more over this year than before you won the Women's World Championship last year. You had the best match at WrestleMania last year, multiple match of the year candidates for the company with Rhea Ripley and Naomi and all these other people. So no, we can't find a spot for you on WrestleMania. This is like, it's preposterous to leave Io Sky off this WrestleMania card. Like, what are they thinking here? This has to be very disencouraging for most of the roster, because this is someone who's over with the fans, who's a great in-ring worker. Like, what box doesn't Io Sky check to make it off to be on the WrestleMania card? Like, what reason could it possibly be? Oh, we don't have that much time. What, time now? Oh, you don't have time for that, but you're gonna have time to do all your freaking ads. You're gonna have time to do all these celebrity guest spots. You're gonna have time for Danhausen. I Show Speed is on the freaking card. Jelly Roll and Pat McAfee are gonna be a part of a WrestleMania main event angle. Little Yachty can be in Trick Williams' corner, but we can't find time for a 7 to 8 minute match with Io Sky.
It's not even so much the time stuff as main card wise. I fully agree with you. By the way, it's like they're gonna do a bunch of ads. They get paid a lot of money to do these ads. They're gonna do these celebrity spots. I don't think these celebrity spots are super necessary, but they're gonna do them. Lil Yachty being in Trick Williams' corner is not exactly like taking up any time because it's just out there. Yeah, they're doing an I Show Speed match and everything. entrances and all this stuff. You know what part like legitimately bothers me of them not being on the show, besides the fact that they should just be on the show? They are going to do a 5-hour pre-show. You can't put this match there. And I understand, like, oh, it should be on the main card. It should not be on the pre-show. I'm fully in agreement with that. Do not get me wrong. I think it should be on the main card. I think you should find time. You don't really have time constraints on these shows. You kind of do, but not fully. Like, and you can cut some stuff or cut down on some stuff to put them out there. You are going to do a 5-hour pre-show that's nothing but talking, and you can't give the fans a little bit of wrestling on that pre-show? Like, what? Huh? That's the part that confuses me, is they don't even bother to use this pre-show stuff outside of, let's do talking. Hey, here's this person. That's where they should be doing all the celebrity stuff. Like, hey, let's talk to this person here and that person there. And it's like, okay, cool. Go away. I don't care about these celebrities. I don't need them during the show. I just don't.
Yeah, I've stopped watching WWE pre-shows. I just don't care. I can't.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't
pointless.
care enough. They're absolutely pointless. Like, the only reason I think I watched WrestleMania 41 pre-show is because I heard the news that they were gonna make a big announcement, and that was the AAA announcement. And I saw that, and I also got to see the Bailey getting attacked during the pre-show. So maybe they do an angle during the pre-show that gets them on the card, or maybe they do something on SmackDown that they make a last minute last minute addition to the card. But I've given up on false hope for most of these companies. It's like with AEW, I've kind of given up on hope that Tony Khan will actually care about the women's division. I'm giving up hope on Io Sky making it on the WrestleMania card. I'm kind of over it now.
It is kind of insane that Io is not there for a number of reasons that you mentioned. But like, at least if Unreal is to be believed, Triple H like loves Io. And is legitimately said, like, if I can only have like one women's wrestler, like, it would be you. Like, I would just build everything around you. And now it's like you couldn't find like a spot for her on the show. Like, wait,
she's gonna have a spot. Enough? She's gonna make the save when B-Fab and Meechin try to get involved. She's going to run out, make the save. She's going to get outnumbered, and then we're going to, on your own, against the wall. It's going to be Bianca come out. She's going to whoop them, and Io and Bianca is going to fight B-Fab and Meechin to the back, and then Rhea's going to pick up the win, and then Io will come out to celebrate Rhea post-match.
Yeah. I hated the Rhea, like, run-in on Raw. The fact that it's like, oh, they're just like back together after this alleged split, and now like Io just feels so sidekick out there when she shouldn't. Yeah, you're right that Io is probably gonna run in when B-Fab and Meechin get involved, and then that sucks. That sucks. Yeah.
See, you were on the WrestleMania card. You were on the WrestleMania cards. You see?
Yeah, Gray's mentioning this, and I saw it yesterday as well, that the people who walked out world champion are not even on this card. 3 of the 4, John Cena, Tiffany Stratton, and Io Sky, are not booked on this card. It's just,
hey, John Cena is a part of the card.
He's the guest host. And in fairness, like, he did legitimately retire. It's not like he's just not on the card. He would, if he still wrestled, he'd be on this card, folks.
He would definitely be on the card if he still wrestled, folks. Yeah. Let's not even include him in this conversation. But it should be more glaring that the 2 women's champions who walked out of WrestleMania are not on this card. And I'm not even, I would love for Tiffany Stratton to be on this card, but I understand her a little bit more than Io Sky. I'm sorry. I apologize for any of Tiffy fans out there. Io Sky, she is legitimately one of the best in-ring performers. She's over with the crowd. I think she's more over with the crowd than Tiffany Stratton. I know that's most important. It doesn't matter how great they are in the ring. I know being over with the crowd is what WWE matters the most to them. So I'm just saying, I think that Io should be on this card. But yeah, Money Mark putting out the list, like Carmelo Hayes, after the last few months that he had as U.S. champion, he's not on the card. Ilya Dragunov, since he's come back, he's been one of the best in-ring performers. He's not on the card. Chelsea Green, she's dealt with injury. That's understandable. And Julia has the WWE Women's United States Championship, which is immune to any PLE performances. It's been around now. It's been 16 months. 16 months, no PLE performances for that title.
I was thinking about the trajectory of Julia compared to like Vacker, because they came in around the same time. They were kind of built around the same time. They obviously had the double title match at NXT, and they were kind of called up around the same time. And they've just gone in complete opposite directions since joining the main roster. Julia is almost like she's about 3 months away from taking a backseat to Kiana James, and Vacker is been the women's world champion for like 7-8 months now, and yeah, it's not even close on who is doing much better. But it's kind of crazy that their trajectory has been that much different from each other, because I would have thought it would have been the same. I kind of would have thought like Julia might have even been a little bit higher, because she seemed like she just had just kind of, and Vacker has an aura about her, don't get me wrong, but Julia really seemed to have it when she first entered and everything, and like it hasn't been there, certainly on the main roster. And I don't think it's her fault, but it just is not. They haven't done anything with her. So. What else do we have on this show? The Emma, the Solo and the Sikoas were there. Okay.
Solo and the Sikoas, indeed. They lost again because they're big fat losers.
And Tama is still like mad over some. I don't know. They're facing the Wyatts again on Friday. I hope that's the end of it. I'm over this whole thing. Just turn Tama, whatever you're gonna do, move on. Just move on. Liv jumped Stephanie, and Kathy Kelly took an errant shot there. Yeah, they tried to sort of recreate the Liv and Roxanne head clash. They, of course, don't need to do that again, because that was one, you can't recreate that. That's a moment of like accidental, like, I don't want to say greatness, but
and then they tried to add the makeup to make Liv look like she had black eyes and stuff.
Yeah,
it was like this is outrageous. Like she got hit in the head. I think you already had the bang because you wanted to cover it up and stuff. She had the bang over her forehead, but
yeah, and it clear, like you could see it, but like it wasn't nearly as prominent as it was, yesterday, or sorry, last week. And so I think that's why they added the black eyes, is they're like, oh, this human growing out of your forehead is no longer there, but we got to make it look like that attack like really sucked. So let's give you black eyes now.
Yeah.
And let's go with that. Oh yeah. Did you see the music video? Did you see the Trouble music video? They played it last night on Raw. We watched it live on the show yesterday. I think it was King of the North. Like, the best part about this is like Jeremy cringing in real time. I went back and rewatched like our rewatch. I did not hide how I thought of this video. No,
probably not.
It was.
I mean,
it was rough.
I was just like, I just sent the video to the True Hill Heat chat. I was like, this chick really thinks she Britney, bitch. Like, it's like, what are we doing? I was like Nick Pinocchio freaking told her that she could be a pop singer, and she decided to make this damn video. It was so bad. The song sucks. The video is what it is. It's well produced. It makes no sense at all. It's just awful. It was really, that's the best thing to say, Evil Diva. It was very cringe.
Yeah, Ryan yesterday was like, it's for the gooners and the gays, and I was like, yeah, if you watch it on mute, it's for them. But like, you can't watch that video with like sound on. It was rough. Yeah, it was Britney inspired. Like you can tell it was like Britney mixed with like Pussycat Dolls. But
yeah.
Nah,
a little bit of Alexa was much better.
Yes, that
was much better.
Let's not even go there. Hold on now. We are not going to compare this to the greatness of a little bit of Alexa.
Yeah, that's one of the greatest pop songs to ever be featured on a sitcom in the history of sitcoms. We are not going to disrespect a little bit of Alexa like that.
And this is the other thing. And like, look, I could be completely off base on here. I don't know. But obviously, Schitt's Creek is a television show where the character knows she's kind of like the character herself, but like the television show knows the character is like aloof and kind of messy in that way. So it's like, hey, we're gonna do this fun like campy music video type of, or we're gonna do this fun campy like song with Alexa, who's kind of an airhead and like it is who she is on the show. It's part of the show. It's part of the bit, right? This feels like it's Liv, like I'm going to be the next music pop superstar and let me show you my talents, and there's no like awareness to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's the difference here.
She even wore the shirt "I Love Trouble" and stuff.
It's her new theme, I'm pretty sure. This is gonna be her theme song.
I'm pretty sure. Once I saw the video, like I saw the opening minutes of the video, I was like, this is totally gonna be her new theme song.
Yeah, I said that yesterday too. I was like, this is gonna be her new theme. I think it's going to be. Like, get ready to hear that song at WrestleMania, folks. It was
so bad.
It was not. It was not good.
I wouldn't be surprised if Def Rebel produced it.
Which song would I rather listen to, Liv song or Osama song? I can't understand Osama song. Like, I can't understand it. I will say, like, I don't think Liv song is very good, but this shit kind of stuck in my head a little bit yesterday. I was like, trouble, that's me.
Trouble, that's me. Cherry lipsticks and a zine.
I don't know the lyrics. I only know trouble, that's me.
I just know cherry lipstick or something about her lips.
Yeah, that's all I saw. I wouldn't put that to that mean it's Def Rebel, because those Netflix captions are not always correct. I had a big thing about that with Cam Hawkins. When New Day came out, which, you know, was 18 years ago at this point because they don't exist on television anymore. But the Netflix caption said it was the Jim Johnston theme. And people were like, oh, is Jim Johnston back? And like, it wasn't the Jim Johnston theme. It's just like, that was just the stock caption that they had. So it's very possible that like they heard the opening riff of the laugh and watch me and are like, oh, this is the Def Rebel song here. So I wouldn't put that it's a Def Rebel thing. But it could be. Like, it wouldn't shock me if it was. I wouldn't confirm that based on the Netflix caption is my point there. I'd find further confirmation on that. What else happened on this show? Is that everything? Anything else important happened on this show?
There was some matches. Rusev got to look strong.
Oh yeah, Rusev took out everybody
in the IC title ladder match. That match was a lot of fun. I know only the US viewers only got to see like 5 minutes of it, but it was a fun overall matchup. So
yeah, I don't think Rusev is winning the ladder match, but
I would say so. I think that's a safe bet. It's a safe bet indeed. They didn't even care to do anything with the Dom and Finn stuff. They just did
that was just Dom complaining.
The 8-second teaser for the Demon, and then Dom complaining to Adam Pearce backstage. And then the same thing with AJ and Becky. Even though it probably didn't need anything, they just got a video package.
AJ Becky stuff, you can tell they were just completely out of ideas basically after they ran this match at Elimination Chamber. And they
And
were
this
like,
is
which
what
is what
we
we
said.
said.
We
Yes.
literally said this when they made the matchup for Elimination Chamber. We were like, why are you doing this? Because it would have been more effective to just do the one matchup at WrestleMania. But they were trying to sell tickets for Chicago, and even I don't know if it was sold out or not, but yeah, they dragged it out for another week, and everything they've done since Elimination Chamber just screams we didn't have any more ideas after that, and you guys didn't like the promos leading up to Elimination Chamber, so we're gonna make this, we're only gonna give you 2 segments. We're gonna do an attack, a setup, and then they're gonna be off television next week. We're gonna do a sit-down interview and then a video package to make it all look good.
This match doesn't feel important at all.
At all.
And I mean,
at all. They have cooled it off legitimately.
I can't believe they didn't add a stipulation to this. Like, they just ran back the singles match. That's the most baffling thing to me, is if you're going to run this at Elimination Chamber, which was, we all agreed was pretty stupid if they were going to run it at WrestleMania, but then it's like, okay, you had a stipulation to WrestleMania to kind of salvage things. No stipulation. And yet the past, like, it doesn't feel like they've been on television, like in front of an audience for like a month now. It's just been video packages and backstage stuff. Like the last time they were in front of an audience was when
they weren't on the show at all.
Yeah. Like the last time they were in front of an audience was like the match setup, right? Or am I just forgetting a segment?
It was the week after Becky attacked her, which was like a month ago now.
Yeah, they just they haven't done anything for this. It's unfortunate, but this match just doesn't feel important at all. All right, that was Raw, everybody. What was your moment of Monday, SP3?
Oba Femi's promo, excellent promo. He didn't even have to say anything new, but his delivery, the reaction from the crowd, he legitimately feels like a main event star in the waiting. Stick the damn landing, WWE.
My moment of Monday, I have 2, actually. Triple H appearing during the Oba Femi segment, and Triple H appearing during the Brock Lesnar segment. He had to be there twice to let you know how important both of those segments were, and so he gets both of my moments of Monday.
Wise decision. He'll definitely post this clip on his social media. Be like, you see, I'm getting a great approval rates. You know, I'm aware of the fan upsetness, but you see this guy understands me.
I think Paul's gonna join us on Friday. You know, final show before WrestleMania.
Oh, look at that! That's awesome.
We'll see what Paul has to say. Anything else we need to hit on today, SP3? Anything going on?
I mean, only wrestling I've watched. Watched the AEW, TNA. We talked a little bit about the AAA show. That was probably the best AAA episode that they've had this year, between the brawl with the Americanos, the Vikingo and Penta matchup was great, and the opening segment with La Catalina's debut, that was really well done. I like the presentation of her entrance. I like setting up her and Flammer going at it, and she's so young. She's only 25 years old and has all this experience from being in WWE previously, being in AAA and CMLL over the last couple of years, and now in AAA. So I expect she's going to be the one to finally dethrone Flammer, but they're probably going to make sure Flammer gets like 30 more days so she can get over 1,000 days with this reign, and then they'll probably move the title to La Catalina. But I'm happy for her. I think she's going to be a big star in AAA. But AAA was the best WWE show of last week. So
Americano is the best WWE feud. It's feud of the year so far for me.
WWE feud of the year. Can't wait. What do you think? Triple Mania
for the Mask vs. Mask?
Yeah.
No, it's Noche's. They confirmed it today. It's May 30th, Noche's Day.
Oh, Oh, okay. They're doing it early. Okay, I'm not mad at
Yeah,
that.
yeah. No, Noche de los Grandes
Yeah,
is the
I saw they were promoting that show on the show
yeah.
on Saturday. So
Yeah. I'm glad they're doing it in AAA and in Mexico because I know people thought that this could be like a WrestleMania match and like could it be? Yes. Would the crowd care at all? Absolutely not.
no, no one cares. This is so much better in Mexico because the United States don't care about it. They do not care about this damn Americano storyline. It's so hot. It's the hottest feud in AAA and in Mexico overall. I think it's out of all of Mexico, and I think CMLL is still the best promotion in Mexico, but the AAA have the best rivalry in Mexico with the Americanos feud. So yeah, that needs to be in Mexico regardless of its Triple Mania of Noches. I'm surprised they're not holding it off for a Triple Mania, but it does make sense. It's as hot as it's gonna be, and you don't want to drag it out even further. And what's
Just
that?
wait.
When's the event? What date is it on?
End of May 30th.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that makes sense. Yeah.
Just wait until Triple H wants it for like Backlash. He's like, you know what? Actually, I want to put this match on Backlash.
They need to go 1-1 in WWE, and then we blow it off in AAA.
He's gonna do this match like the Raw before the AAA show. Like he's gonna do something dumb.
Hey, I'm happy that we might get Chad Gable back. That's what we need.
Yeah. Kaiser's got to win this match. You can't. Yeah. There's no way you can go with Gable winning.
So okay. It actually does make sense because then Triple Mania main event will probably be Dom versus Americano.
Yeah.
Because he still has the title shot from winning Reina de Reyes.
Okay. Results of our poll question today. Who do you want to win at WrestleMania? 95% said Oba Femi.
Who do you want to win WrestleMania? Oba Femi. I agree.
Yeah, just Oba Femi wins WrestleMania.
Yeah, he just wins
that's actually fair. Yeah. Just who do you want to win WrestleMania? Oba Femi. He should win WrestleMania.
He should own the rights to WrestleMania. Moving further. The ruler.
What did we accomplish today, SP3?
We accomplished a lot. We did a thorough NBA playoff preview as only we can. The best basketball podcast masquerading as a wrestling podcast, and we proved it by spending an hour on the NBA playoffs. And we talked about an episode of Monday Night Raw, which had some solid build to WrestleMania and not much wrestling.
The biggest thing we accomplished today is this will probably be the only time this week that we will talk basketball, not wrestling, because this week is nothing but wrestling, and it's very sad.
Non-stop wrestling, and AEW is not giving us a break either because they got Spring Breakthrough, which is probably going to have Darby Allin winning the AEW World Championship.
Tried to warn everybody.
You did. I should have just listened to you. I should have just succumbed. I was like, it's not I'm not as mad at it as I was last week when we were discussing it, because it was like, it's 4 months until Wembley, so it is kind of making it a little bit more unpredictable by having a couple of title changes. So I'm not as mad at it as I was when we first discussed it last Thursday.
Yeah, like we talked about last Thursdays, I think MJF still walks into Wembley as the champion. That doesn't mean he's going to hold the title the entire time between now and Wembley. So I think that Darby's going to win on Wednesday. He'll lose it back to MJF at Double or Nothing, and then MJF will get to Wembley as the champion. So I do like we'll talk more about this tomorrow, but it's WrestleMania week, and AEW is like, okay, we're going to do a world title change on television during your biggest week of the year. I was like, that kind of rules. Like, yeah, I don't think
it was last year. It was, we're going to have our best Dynamite of the year during your week. And now this year they're saying we're going to have a big title change. So I like them switching it up a bit to get the headlines of WrestleMania week on them.
Yeah. MJF and Darby could end in a time limit draw. They've already got like 2 other big matches on this show. I imagine they're going to announce a little bit more. I just don't know if they're gonna do 60 for those two. Like
Yeah.
it feels like they're gonna have too much stuff on the show already to where they're not gonna go 60. I've been steadfast in my belief. I mean, go back and watch the show from weeks and weeks ago, where I said that Darby was potentially going to win the title sooner rather than later. And sometimes I say things because I know things, and then you guys figure out that I know things. But I've been steadfast that Darby's going to win the title, and I will.
Yeah,
Continue.
John Alba said this back in like February.
Yeah, Alba. He seemed like he might have been kind of in the know. I know Zarian was kind of in the know. So yeah, we tried to lay tea leaves out there for everybody
Mm-hmm.
when it came to this, but we can't outright say anything. And look, maybe they switch it up. I continue to say, if I was AEW, I would not take the title off MJF. I think he's too hot right now, and I would have him continue to continue to carry the title. And if that happens, no problem with that. But Darby's been planned to hold that title since All In last year when he decided to go climb a mountain. Oh, I figured he was going to get it at some point this year. I just didn't know when.
And it kind of does make sense to do. Darby wins in his hometown of Everett, and then he loses it in MJF's hometown of New York. So that makes sense.
Exactly.
Too. I don't have as much issue on it as I did before. I think that it does help out Darby, and he does get the big win he's been wanting. And Darby's the type of guy who doesn't need a long reign either.
Yeah. I said that yesterday. I was like, Darby's Mick Foley. Mick Foley's longest title reign was like 20 days. He does not need the title.
Mick Foley had 3 title reigns that lasted about 2 months.
Yes, exactly. Like, you do not need to have a long title run with Darby, and I don't think he will have a long title run. There is NXT tonight. It's actually like kind of an important show because it's one of their specials. So
it's NXT Revenge.
Speed Tournament, EK Prosper and Dorian Vendu. I assume EK
I'm
Prosper
going with
wins.
Dorian Vendu.
Really? Okay, I'm going EK Prosper. Jada Parker and Kalani Jordan run it back.
Kalani Jordan, because Jada won the last one.
Yeah. Joe Hendry is going to do a concert. Sure.
Hopefully it's something good and better than the last concert I saw on NXT television.
Well, Lola Vice defends the women's title against JC Jane. I don't think they're going to take the title off Lola this quickly. This feels like the swan song for JC.
Yeah, I was about to say, Lola wins. Goodbye, JC. See you after WrestleMania on the main roster, where she belongs. She's a fifth year senior. We don't need a 6th year.
Yeah. This feels like it's the end for JC. And Tony D'Angelo against Ethan Page, kind of same thing. I can't imagine they're taking the title off Tony D'Angelo. I don't know if this is a swan song for Ethan Page, though.
I think it is.
Okay, I hope you're right.
I think it's the swan song for Ethan Page. He gets called up to the main roster. See you probably on SmackDown after WrestleMania. And then next week, to give y'all early so we don't have to do this next Tuesday, I think Sol Ruka's losing to Zarya, and it's the swan song for Sol next week.
I get 100% see that. I hope you're right about Ethan, because he should be on the main roster at this point, and SmackDown makes a lot of sense there. I'm just not as sold on it as I am for JC and Sol, because I do think you're right that Sol will lose next week to come up, and as I said, I think this is it for JC here. So I hope you're right about Ethan, though. He should be on the main roster. All right, everybody. Appreciate everyone joining us. Everyone sign up for Club WWE, because that's a thing. And you're going to sign up for Club WWE, SP3?
No, I did sign up for my AEW to watch the pay-per-view on.
Yeah, because Sunday. That's actually like a service where you can like watch stuff and whatnot. That's not an email service. Zeno Hour, you signed up for Club WWE, didn't you?
Yeah, he would. He would.
Zeno Hour signed up for Club WWE. I actually don't have like there's any issue with Club. Every single like brand does this. I'm a member of Walmart Plus, and you get points on stuff, you get deals on stuff. Like it does cost something, but you get Paramount Plus for like a discount, which is nice. You get discount on like gas. Like every single outlet entity, like major entity like that, uh has their own like club like this, where it's like, hey, sign up and get just the name Club WWE is very funny.
You saw 0 Hour Botch. He said, "Nope, I'm paying that," and then he said, "Nope, I'm not paying for it." See, he knew he gave himself away. That's
Yeah, Ryan
hilarious.
saying I'm a Sam's and Costco member. Yeah, everybody has this kind of stuff. Bands have this kind of stuff. Sign up and get on the mailing list and get discount on all of this stuff. It doesn't always pay, or you don't always like pay for that. So some people it's just like a fan club or whatever. How much does Club WWE cost? I didn't even look at it. What's it cost, Hour?
I don't care. Yeah, what does it cost?
I do. I want to know.
That.
I want to know what it costs. I can reserve my spot, but like I don't want to like actually join the wait list because I don't want these emails. But I just don't know what it costs.
We'll see. I don't know. That's weird.
Oh, okay. It doesn't seem like there's like an official cost yet. You can pre-register. It says the predicted cost is $250 to $500 a year. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the predicted cost. That's not official. Please don't put that out there that's how much it costs, because I don't know how much it actually costs. I don't think it's going to cost. I might look real stupid with this comment. I don't think it's going to cost. This feels like an email service where it's like, hey, tickets are going on sale early. Here's the code to get the tickets early if you're part of Club WWE. Hey, we're about to release this merchandise. Only Club WWE members can have it. Like, you have to pay, obviously, for the tickets, and you have to pay for all the merchandise and stuff. But it feels like it's just like an email, like, service for people who want to be involved in that. I could be completely wrong. It could be like, yeah, you got to pay $10 to be part of this tier, you got to pay $50 to be part of this tier, and you got to pay $100 to be part of this tier. It could 100% be that. I'm going to give them a little bit of a benefit of a doubt and say it's just kind of like an enhanced email service for hardcore WWE fans. But we shall see. Everyone should pay for Club WWE. Pay us to pay for it. Don't actually pay for it. I don't care. We'll be back tomorrow, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. Myself and Joel Pearl. We'll see who else might show up. You never know. Shall see. Could have a run-in, a roll-up run-in. Distracting roll-up run-in. Things happen. We shall see. Let them know where they can find you at SP3.
You can follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. I will be live in about 40 minutes with Top Guy JJ for Rated Raw Review, breaking down, reviewing last night's WWE Raw. So join us over there for that. We got a full week of content over on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. We had our AEW Dynasty review. You can check that out right now. We will have a preview of the week when it comes to the Collective and Slamfest on Wednesday. Also on Wednesday, I'm doing a playoff preview with TC, my nephew, over on True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment. Thursday, we got our WrestleMania preview. Myself, Maggie, and Robert D. Felice, I think, is supposed to be joining us for that. And then we got Friday, AE Ramble. We're switching it up. We'll be reviewing Dynamite, and I'll be reviewing Collision because Jimmy refuses to watch Collision. So then we got on Saturday the True Hill Heat flagship podcast. We got a watch party for night 1 of WrestleMania. Then Sunday we got a night 1 review, and then also the night 2 watch party. And then on Monday we'll be reviewing night 2. So a full week of content over on True Hill Heat. Go and subscribe. Help us out. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you as always, SP3. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be here all week, folks. Around the time on Wednesday, I will have no sleep. So Get ready. Oh, tomorrow's Wednesday. Shit. Forgot. Thought it was earlier in the week already. Everyone take care. Enjoy the wrestling. Catch y'all tomorrow. Bye, everyone.